G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here to watch my content, and as always, it is my pleasure and privilege to talk about rugby here on YouTube. Super Rugby quarterfinals, the first game, Blues versus the Waratahs. This is quite a bit of blowout. Again, as kind of expected going into this game, the Waratahs had a few players injured, and the Blues, with the return of the Bowden Barrett, I thought Bowden actually played pretty poorly, to be honest. But yeah, really kind of like took control of the game in the second half and ran away with it. But I did think that the Waratahs played really with a lot of ambition in the first half. No, let's take 3 points, guys. So I was really happy about that, despite the fact that they didn't convert those opportunities into points, despite the fact that the scoreboard might have looked a little bit worse than it could have been if they'd taken the three. But it was a much more gutsy, much more determined performance for the Waratahs in the first half. The Blues was under tremendous amount of pressure in the first half. Actually, they were struggling to exit their own half, and Bowden Barrett's kicking game wasn't that great. And then the Waratahs was able to apply some pretty good sustained pressure, and it came down to just really that little bit of a polish for the Waratahs to turn those opportunities into points. There was a try where Dylan Pitch went over the try line and had the ball knocked out of him. That should have been a try. Just stuff like that. A tiny bit of polish. The Waratahs just lacking a little bit. And then, what was the difference in the first half? But the second half was a completely different story. The Blues completely blown the Waratahs away in the second half. The Waratahs was dropping the ball left and right, handing the ball to the Blues. And the Blues, to be honest, outside of one maybe sustained try, the Blues wasn't that impressive, to be honest. The Waratahs was really, really poor in the second half. That's what kind of done themselves in. And 41 points to 12, the end score. And that's the last time Michael Hooper will be playing for the Waratahs, and potentially the last time Michael Hooper at Eden Park. I think this is the last time Michael Hooper will be at Eden Park, because the Waratahs played at Dunedin. So really, really sad. 5 tries to 2 in the end. And here's the thing, right? The Waratahs, I thought, were trying to were asked, to run a marathon after doing a few jogging sessions in the gym, right? So the way the Waratahs played in the first half is the right way to go about winning the game. But I think that style, that high pressure style, that, not going for 3 points, going for the lineouts, going for the try, constant pushing style, maybe have wore themselves out a bit, because for the whole season, they've been opting to go for the easy option to take the 3. So maybe that's, more of that, not less, but, focus on the whole season to try to push for tries instead of going for easy points would actually yield a much better result in the long run for the Waratahs. So I was, despite the performance, the scoreline, I was pretty happy with the first half of the Waratahs, and I hope that they keep doing that for the whole season, and then build towards the quarterfinals next year with a team that is capable of running the marathon, right? Instead of just jogging on the treadmill for the whole season and trying to do a marathon right at the end. Capable of actually doing the marathon after having done a few marathons in the whole season. They're able to get to the quarterfinals and potentially pull out a win there. So hopefully the Waratahs keep that up next year and not go back to the easy options of the 3 points. But that's something that I think would be a positive to take going into next season for the Waratahs. So some match stats: 5 tries to 2 for the Blues. Dominated the run meters in the second half of the Blues. 602 run meters overall to the Waratahs 387. Turnovers conceded. The Blues conceded 6 turnovers, which is quite good. 12 turnovers conceded for the Waratahs. That is way too much, especially in the second half. Waratahs was giving the ball away quite literally to Mark Talea to help him set him up for a try. Tackle count 134 for the Blues, only 11 missed tackles, so really world-class tackling defense. Waratahs, once again, the tackling was less than desired. 36 missed tackles. With Joseph Swali joining in the Waratahs, that would be 50 missed tackles when he comes into the team. So the defense was once again really poor. 166 tackles made, 36 missed tackles. Conversions, kicking game, the Blues 22 kicks to the Waratahs 17. I thought the the Blues kicking it wasn't that great, especially Beauden Barrett in the first half. He looks really out of it. There was a few really, really bad kick. In fact, Waratahs, the only try Waratahs scored was the result of a really bad kick from Beauden Barrett. Conversions, though, for Beauden Barrett was perfect. 7 out of 7. There was 1 out of 2 for Donaldson for the Waratahs. I think it was actually, what's his name? Edmund was doing the kicking. I think it wasn't Donaldson. And lineouts, 15 lineouts for the Blues, 8 for the Waratahs. Scrums, 4 to 6. Discipline, once again, the Waratahs were struggling. I was surprised that the Waratahs wasn't given a yellow card. There was quite a few repeated penalties under pressure for the Waratahs. But the Blues did much better in their discipline. Only 5 penalties conceded to the Waratahs 12. So let's go through some of the key moments of the game. Really not much to talk about in terms of the dominance. But yeah, right from the beginning, the Waratahs was putting on a lot of pressure in the Blues. The Blues was trying to exit out of their own 22. Beauden Barrett decides to do a really poor kick. He kicked the ball right up in the air, over the top, landed in the middle of the field on the 50-meter mark, and the ball just bounced weirdly. And then nobody got the ball. The ball just like bounced in an awkward direction. And one of the Waratahs player, the Waratahs outside center, I think it was. It's not Isaiah Paresi, is it? Yeah, Isaiah Paresi gets the ball, makes a little half break, and then suddenly the Blues defense was all over the place after chasing this ball, and then he links up with Ned Hannigan, runs in for the first try for the Waratahs 2 minutes into the game. And then the Blues had a first opportunity for a penalty 11 minutes into the game. The Blues takes that one, 3 points to 7. The Blues gets their first try on the ball 16 minutes into the game. Mark Talea gets the ball, right? He was just like not going down in the tackles, man. He runs into defenders, bumps off like 3 of them, literally. Still gets the ball free to AJ Lamb on the win. AJ Lamb runs down the win. Again, makes a half break, manages to offload the ball to Rieko Ioane, runs down the field, and then links up with Finlay Christie, goes in for the first try for the Blues, 7 points to 3. The 21 minutes into the game, the Waratahs was putting a lot of pressure on the Blues. The Blues was not able to exit their own half. There was some good handling for the Waratahs, a fair bit of pressure, center field, and then the ball comes out wide. A nice little long cutout pass to Dylan Pitch with space into the corner. He jumps into the try line. I think it might have been Beauden Barrett who tried to knock the ball out of his hand, and it didn't even hit the ball, hit him on the arms. Just a little bit of, pressure, knocked the ball out of Dylan Pitch's hand. Yeah, really good defense there by Beauden. And then Waratahs, after this try was kind of like knocked out, there was a goal and dropout. Waratahs continued with the pressure. They were getting, Waratahs gets a penalty advantage following this. Instead of going for 3 points, Waratahs opts to go for the line out, which I thought was really, really good decision. And the line out gets stolen. So yeah, obviously for the whole season, things like this needs to be worked on. You can't expect to go into high pressure game like this and go, decides to make a high pressure play and then not to make a mistake if you haven't done it at all the whole season. So it's good that they tried at this point, but that is the right decision. But yeah, the pressure was alleviated from the line of stolen. The Blues again was struggling to exit properly. Waratahs was able to get themselves back into the 22, putting some more pressure on. Waratahs gets another penalty around 30-minute mark. In the first half, and again they decide to go for the line out, and this time the Waratahs gets line out down. They start running the ball, and this was a really, really weird decision actually. One of the Waratahs players was just was like a dummy runner, but he wasn't even running. He was just like standing there. The ball kind of was to the right hand side of him. Hoskins Sotutu runs into him and just knocks him over. I don't know who it was. I think it was Sotutu, or maybe it was Akio Ioane. One of the Blues players just runs in, knocks him over without the ball. I thought that was a tackle without the ball. But Ben O'Keefe, the Kiwi referee, thought, hey, that's obstruction. So I thought it was really weird because the guy that got pushed over by Sotutu was nowhere near the ball, and it was he wasn't anywhere near to obstructing the ball. So yeah, that was really weird decision by the referee, and Sotutu kind of milked it a little bit. Yeah, I thought that was a bit of biased decision by Ben O'Keefe, because if it wasn't a New Zealand team, I'm sure he would have sent it the other way, because that was really obvious what Sotutu was trying to do, trying to milk a penalty by running himself into the player that did, tried to push him over. The 36 minutes into the game, the Blues finally give themselves some territory inside the Waratahs half. The Blues gets a penalty and they decide to go for the line out themselves. So they go for the 5 meter line out. They look at, I think, the set up the more. The more comes down, goes long to the midfield. Nice little couple of crash balls. And then AJ Lamb gets the ball. He barges over the try line. Gets held up by a foot over the try line. And then the Waratahs does a goal line dropout. The Blues just comes back, truck him back into the field, start running the ball again. Just quick pick and goes. It was nothing too special. Nipo Laulala picked them to go a couple times in this run, just, nothing too fancy. Eventually, the Blues got themselves right in front of Waratahs goal line again, and it was just the same playbook. There was nothing fancy. Didn't even utilize the space out wide at all. Nipo Laulala picks and go with a couple of help with his friends. Low body position, trucks over for the try. The Waratahs defense was really poor here. Just almost like conceding territory to basic, pick and goes was not really that good. So second half starts. 4 minutes into the second half, the Blues gets another penalty. They kick the ball out for a line out. They go for the more. Just before this penalty was given, it looked like Michael Hooper got smacked in the head in a clean out. It definitely didn't look like he got smacked in the head. It definitely got smacked in the head in a clean out by what's his name? Dalton Papali'i. And referee, all the referees saw it and thought it was okay. I thought this was really bad decision. That should have been a penalty because smacked him straight on the head in the ruck. Dalton Papali'i runs straight in. That should have been a yellow card. Any other referee on the field, any other game, anywhere in the world that's not a substandard refereeing, like in Super Rugby, that would have been a yellow card. So yeah, really poor decision by the referee. So the Blues says play on. Blues goes for the more, and then they go in for the try with Hooper looking a bit hurt, and then Langi Gleeson also look a bit hurt. So yeah, Blues moors this one over for the try. 44 minutes into the game. 52 minutes into the game, the Blues again was building inside the Waratahs half with some poor defense, but the Waratahs once again just nice long ball to the sideline. Zhang Sullivan found himself in, got himself in a bit of a space, goes into the corner. A lot of missed tackles once again by the Waratahs. Suddenly the scoreboard ticks up to 31 points to 7. 67 minutes into the game, the Blues once again, the Waratahs were trying to run the ball out of their own half, and was really rusty. There was like two forwards trying to, basically in the back line, there was just two forwards, and one of the four passes the ball to, I think it was Jet Holloway. Who was it? Yeah, Jet Holloway just completely drops the ball, and then Mark Talea swoops it up, runs straight through, untouched basically for the fifth try for the Blues, and this is the 12th try for Mark Talea for the season, equaling the record of Super Rugby. And suddenly the scoreboard is 38 points to 7. And then just before full time, after this try was scored, the Waratahs gets himself, in a bit of a momentum from the kickoff. The Blues was looking like probably like they're napping a little bit. Mark Talea rushes up in defense, found himself a bit out of position. And Donaldson spots this little nice kick over the top. Dylan Pish gets the bounce ball straight into his hand, runs in immediately for a return try, 69th minutes, and then the game is 38 points to 12. And then the game played on a little bit of the last 10 minutes. The Blues gets a penalty right at the end. Everybody thought the Blues was going to go for the try, but obviously nobody wants to get injured. Blues did the right decision and the smart decision to take the 3 points and then end the game 41 points to 12 over the Waratahs. And I thought, could you imagine what it's like to be eliminated basically with about half the game still to go, right? Like in the second half, the Waratahs was so bad, and like it was just, it's like you're already eliminated and there's still like 30 minutes left on the clock. The way the Waratahs were playing was just not really cohesive, not really, it wasn't polished. It wasn't really polished at all. But that is the game, guys. Let me know your thoughts. And like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more quarterfinals. And hopefully we see some upsets tomorrow. And thanks for watching. Cheers.